Today I've come to a steep limestone gorge in remote western Sichuan, China, looking for more orchids that can only be found in this area.
Right off the bat, we found this beautiful clump of blooming Cypripedium henryi. This is the plant with the green flowers in the center of the frame. Last year, I came looking for this, but it had already finished blooming by the time I arrived. Almost immediately, we found 3 other orchid species as well, all mere steps into the forest.
It's almost subtropical, huh?
Ah,
With the cicadas.
yeah.
At the beginning of the hike, we crisscrossed back and forth over the creek a few times. This is the first bridge you can see me crossing in my boots. This is what I wore for the full 11-mile hike. The landscape in this area is stunning. Steep-sided valleys, robed all in green, beautiful clear creeks. The forest is really rich and diverse, and there's all kinds of blooming plants everywhere, like this deutzia. I was reminded over and over why this area is called the Mother of Gardens. It's just so surreal to think about the fact that Sichuan has 83 million people. That's 2 Californias. And yet, it's quite easy to get somewhere where you can walk all day without seeing another person. Walking through this forest is like being inside a shifting mosaic. Thousands of species of blooming plants, large and small, vie for your attention at every moment. Many are familiar, like beautiful blooming peonies in the understory of the forest, or fragrant magnolias, the flowers dangling above you. Before this day, I had never seen Wilson's magnolia before, and we came across a beautifully blooming specimen next to the trail. It perfumed the whole area with a gorgeous scent. Seeing this beautiful tree blooming in the wild really gave me new appreciation for this lovely tree and got me excited about the possibility of seeing the orchids that we had come to find. We continued for miles along the river and through many slightly different types of forests. As we continued upward, in some areas we saw evidence of herding and grazing of hoofed animals. And I couldn't help but wonder about the presence of horses and cows and how that affects small and rare plants like the orchids. In the early afternoon, we came to a large clearing where there was a small lean-to shelter and a number of horses grazing around the outside of it. Though I did not see them directly myself, we were told that this valley is also home to giant pandas and golden snub-nosed monkeys, and in the higher reaches of the mountains behind us, there are snow leopards.
Where I'm walking now, the forest floor floats above a stream. It's spread out all around, flowing beneath us. And there's a soft layer of moss and roots holding us above the water as we walk. Superficially, it looks like there's streams, but there's water underneath every footstep flowing through the forest.
I think here you could get a little bit better sense of how the forest floor floats above flowing water. This is the first spot we came to look for the minute flowered Cypripedium, Cypripedium micranthum. And after some searching, we came upon a colony. Possibly 100 individual plants all connected by underground rhizomes. However, only one had a semi-open flower. The tiny, strange bloom is completely covered on the outside by purplish red hairs, and you can just see the little round yellow lip inside.
Well, here I am standing at the edge of the waterfall, and so far we found 2 blooming species. Cypripedium tibeticum, which is a little bit of a surprise, and the tiny Cypripedium micranthum. Even though I've seen hundreds, possibly thousands of blooming Cypripedium tibeticum, each one that I encounter in the wild really takes my breath away. They're just so distinctive, so unmistakably bold yet delicate, that seeing them growing out of the grass or among the rocks really just stops me in my tracks each time.
There's also an almost endless yet subtle variety to how their flowers can appear that keeps me curious and fascinated with their beauty, even though I've seen them many, many times now. And whether they're in an open field high in the mountains or in this mixed woodland, the flowers just stand out and somehow seem otherworldly. In a nearby valley, in about a month's time, hundreds or thousands of Cypripedium tibeticum will be blooming together all at once. Western China is also an incredible place to see rhododendrons. There are hundreds of different species here, many that grow only in this area. We hope to find the Sichuan Ladyslipper, Cypripedium Szechuanense, here as well, but we looked and couldn't find any sign of it, so we decided to head back down the valley. We took a different route down than the one we had taken up, and consequently saw different plants, including this beautiful rhododendron blooming out over the creek bed. All around, the steep peaks reached up to the sky, reminding us that at each elevation there were different fascinating plants hiding in the forests and on the scree. I couldn't help but wonder what amazing things you would see if you had a week just to walk slowly and carefully along each of these ridgelines. Everywhere around, there are microhabitats that you could easily miss if you didn't take time to look carefully or know ahead of time that they were there. For example, this travertine waterfall formation. It's small, but this is the area where we found the Ladyslippers. There was no sign of them elsewhere on the forest or slopes. We had to come just to this one specific small spot. And throughout these mountains, there are many such small spots. Earthquakes, rock slides, and floods change this mosaic of habitats constantly, eliminating some niches and opening new ones every year. Nothing is static here. Communities of plants and animals are constantly moving, assembling and disassembling over time and space. You can feel how vibrantly alive this place is, and it's quite a beautiful experience. You can also easily appreciate its delicacy and how you have to be in just the right place at the right time to see some of these things, and appreciate how the human's touch, light or heavy on the land, can impact some of these rare, beautiful organisms. The way the myriad living and non-living forces interact here to create something dynamic and beautiful is a bit akin to music. Countless lovely things sounding out and disappearing over time, each like the notes of an orchestra, overlapping, harmonizing, and creating something beautiful. It's difficult to grasp or perceive the whole thing at once, but easy to immerse yourself in its beauty. As the day gradually darkened, we moved to a narrow gorge, one last spot in search of the Sichuan Ladyslipper. And there, under the canopy of trees, we found one blooming. The strange purple spotted leaves, an oddly poised bloom, designed to attract flies. This strange, rare flower can't really be grown in gardens and must be appreciated by carefully visiting the few places that it can be found in the wild. Finding them here in perfect bloom was exciting, but the happiness was compounded by finding yet another species, Cypripedium plectrochilum, the Asian ram's head ladyslipper. This was my first time seeing this species in bloom as well, and I found several small groups, each blooming on top of a moss-covered boulder.
I feel like I'm on top of the world, and I kind of am. I'm on a very steep cliff above the gorge. Just found 2 new blooming Cypripedium species, Cypripedium Sichuanense and Cypripedium plectrochilum. Never seen those blooming before in my life. Very few people in the world have. So this is just an incredible feeling.
At the end of the day, I felt incredibly lucky and grateful to have gotten to experience this wonderful symphony of life. Though I know I'm not doing it justice, I hope I have captured a small fraction of the beauty that I witnessed here and shared it with you today.